Support our hashtag creatives on Jess TV, hosted by Alan Greenstein. Our special guest is Dorez Douglas, author, poet, and award-winning producer. We will discuss her first major project Jirimpimbira, how the entertainment industry has changed since Dorez started, indie versus Hollywood versus the new NonDē movement, her collaboration with two-time Academy Award winner Willie D. Burton, the FAVunite platform, the importance of writing on Substack, and the eBooks she has written. This is a recording of a live broadcast, so expect some imperfections during the show. There was some editing performed on the original recording. Enjoy the show.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Support our Hashtag Creatives. Through my brand, and my name is Alan Greenstein, through my brand Support our Hashtag Creatives, we level the playing field for underrepresented creatives and artists so that they get the same chance as everybody else to get their products created, distributed, and seen. I'm also on the board of directors of the Bella Levy Foundation, and the goal of the Bella Levy Foundation is to fight human trafficking and provide a safe haven for its warriors. And by the way, I would like to welcome those watching this live as well as those watching this on the replay. And I'm so excited tonight. Our guest is Dorez Douglas. She's an award-winning producer, author, and poet. So it's so great to have her on tonight. And so Dorez, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Alan. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Dorez Douglas. I've been a producer now for about the last 20 years, but I started over 30 years ago in the industry doing all kinds of jobs. And now I'm finally settled into producing and enjoying it.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you said you got your start in the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about how it, I like to say, used to be when you started versus today.
Oh, wow. That's a really good question, Alan, because it's so different now. It's been a major, major pivot for me, because when I started, you had to somehow break into Hollywood. Let me just put it that way. You didn't have the option like you do now of going around and outside of Hollywood. And so what you had to do was you had to either have a connection already in the industry, or you had to put on like a play, something that made a big splash, got a lot of attention. And the only other way was you had to get past the gatekeepers in Hollywood, because there was only the networks and the studios. There were no streaming services. In fact, we didn't even have cell phones and the internet.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, is now you don't have to get permission. You don't have to wait for anybody to tell you, to give you what we call the green light. You don't have to wait for that anymore.
Yes, it's truly amazing how technology has made it for more democratic creatives, whether it be in Hollywood or anywhere else. I mean, it doesn't necessarily be in Hollywood; it could be anywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can really plan and get this project started. It's excellent.
Right.
Yeah. So
you can get a job in entertainment in any city now. And because a lot of cities have better tax incentives than California, although we're growing in that area, but because a lot of other cities and states offer better tax incentives, they're drawing people there, to come there to make their movies so they can get those breaks.
Yeah, I guess that's also a change that happened, on the non-technical side, was that states across the country started offering these various incentives.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd like you to tell us about your very first project from around 1995, Jirimpimbira. Yeah. What was that all about? And how did you get? And how did you manage to get it made?
Yeah, that's a story, boy, in itself. I'm going to shorten it, though, for you. What happened was that at the time, I was looking for work. I had only been in California for about 5 years, Well, actually longer than that, but back and forth. I was back and forth between there and Louisiana, where my husband was from. But anyway, I found a lady at Disney, and I was really there to see if I could get a job. But she ended up saying, I think you're overqualified for this position. And boy, I was heartbroken, but I didn't let her know that. I just kept smiling. And so she ended up looking at my resume, and she noticed on the resume that I had put a mention of some hobbies, because they always ask you, like, do you have any hobbies? And so one of the things that I like to do at that time was to go to libraries and read to children. And I would find children's books at the library, and then they would make the appointment and tell me what day and time to be there, and I would come and read to the kids. And I love doing this. So to my surprise, the lady at Disney, she said, well, I can't offer you a job. She said, but there is a network that's looking for some African folk tales, and they're looking for other cultures as well. And they're going to package it together in a series. And if I can do it with you, I could help walk you through it. Because I told her, I said, well, I don't know anything about producing anything. And so anyway, long story short, we ended up going through the library, trying to find a good story. We found 3 or 4 that I thought, might impress the network. And we worked on the outlines. We found a writer. And it turned out, too, that this writer had already written stuff for ABC before. So that made it a lot easier for us to get our foot in the door. But also the lady at Disney used to work at ABC, so she knew some people there. So anyway, that wound up getting us in the door to pitch the project. They liked it. It's called Jirimpimbira. It's an African folk tale, and it's animated. And I had no experience in animation, so I really wasn't feeling too hopeful. But I put up a good front, kept smiling, and we ended up getting the deal. And to my surprise, we did such a good job that they didn't even end up doing all the other cultures that they were going to do. Ooh. They just did ours. And so it became one of the programs on what they call the weekend special. Okay. And we won an award for that show.
Oh wow! Yeah. And what was your credit in that project?
Co-executive producer. Okay. And that was a shock to me too, because I was like thinking, if they only knew that I don't know a thing about producing. But luckily for me, I had taken a orientation class. I don't know if they still do it now, but the cable companies used to offer a class. You could go there for 2 hours, and they trained you in how to be a producer. And so I had done that course. And as a result of doing that course, they let me have a 30-minute show that I could produce. And they gave me the equipment and the use of their studio and at the cable company. And we ended up doing that show, the lady from Disney and we ended up doing that show for probably about 6 months or maybe somewhere around there. And it was a wonderful experience, to learn how to produce that way, and then be able to produce in animation as well. The one thing I would like to say about doing animation, and I know it's different now because people do it on the computer, and to me, it looks cheesy, but that's probably because I got spoiled by doing the one for ABC. They contacted the Ruby Spears, which was one of the biggest animation houses at that time. They'd done The Magic Flute, which is a real popular movie, a classic. They had done that, and they had done a lot of other animation projects. And so they walked us through step by step how to do hand-drawn animation. We got to watch them creating these characters. So it was an unforgettable experience. I'm glad I had it, even though now, of course, it's cheaper and simpler to do it on the computer.
Yeah. And With this project, did you end up staying in Hollywood from that point on?
Yes, I ended up staying, and it's so funny because I thought I wasn't going to find a job, and to my surprise, a lady that I had met at a networking event, she said, "Dorez, have you ever thought about working at a game show?" And I said, "No, I don't know about working at a game show." So we ended up, well, it ended up that she told me where to go, where to call to get an interview. And out of 200 applicants, I got selected. So I couldn't believe it. So because I was able to get that job, I was able to stay in California.
Yeah. Oh wow! What kind of what did you do at the game show?
Well, it was called The Love Connection. And I don't know if you remember it.
Oh
But
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
years ago, it's an old show. They've since done it over, and did a reboot of it or something. But I was on the original one in the office, the production office. And the other odd thing about all of my experiences like this is that sometimes I fall into things and I don't even know what I've fallen into. I didn't know at the time that that's the development side of the industry. That's where they do all of the work with building the show, and like the uh, what scripts are written and all the stuff that you have to do before you even get to production. So I had a chance to learn what that process is like. And prior to that, I had worked temp jobs at various studios and networks. So I had seen a little bit of the development side of the business. But if anybody wants to get into this business, I would recommend that you do it by working on the development side. And that's like where you go to like the production companies and the studios and the streaming services. All of them have to have a development department, and that's where projects are submitted, and they either get the green light or they get passed on.
Yeah. Wow. That's something. Okay. By the way, let me mention that Jirimpimbira can be found on YouTube. So
Yes.
so everybody please just search for that. Jirimpimbira.
Yep, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about your project, Voices, starring Lamar Rucker.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I just couldn't believe we got Lamont Rucker as our star for that short film. It wasn't a big project, so I was worried. But what happened is a friend of mine, and he's actually a friend of mine and my partner, Willie, and we'll talk more about Willie later. But his name is Clarence Nero, and Clarence is a professor at Baton Rouge Community College. So he contacted us and he said that he had written a book, well, not written the book, but he edited the book of essays. And these were written by college students in his class, his creative writing class. And what happened was they had had some really rough experiences during one summer in Baton Rouge. And so they were still kind of shaken up by all the different things that had happened. And then, of course, COVID hit after that, too. So Clarence suggested that they each write an essay about what they had experienced. And they did. And he put it together in a book. And so he wanted to know if we would be able to take that book and make it into a short film. And so we did do it. It was a big undertaking because there were like 34 essays, and there was no way to, feature all of them in that short film. So we had to choose. We picked out the ones that we felt were the most compelling, and but all of them were good. And we ended up getting Lamont Rucker through Clarence. Clarence knew his manager. So we ended up getting him to agree to play the lead role. He played Clarence, the professor, in the movie. And the only crazy thing about all of this is when he first pitched us the idea, it was 2019. So we didn't know anything about COVID at that time. So we got all geared up. We're all set. We're like, yeah, we're going to do it. We got the script written. We talked to several people that were going to help us with casting. We were getting the crew together. And they said, after COVID hit, they said, all the people that were giving us the money, they said, we're not going to be able to do this project because of COVID. Well, at that time, we didn't really know how bad it was going to get. But we put everything on hold. And the next thing we knew, it had gotten so bad, they put everybody on lockdown. So now I'm thinking, this project is dead in the water. May as well forget it. Well, to my surprise, the people that were giving us the money, it was a grant. They had a deadline, and we had to get that movie made by September. Now, this was August when they're telling us this.
Oh, wow.
They said, well, you're going to have to get this movie done by September or you won't get the money. And we were like, what? So with less than a month to prepare, we went into pre-production and then into production, and we shot that project in 3 days. And that includes the pre-production time. That includes prepping and wrapping in 3 days. So luckily, Lamont Rucker is such an incredible actor. He was able to learn his lines and just jump right in there. Everybody had to fly in the day before so that we could get everybody tested. And then we had to follow all the guidelines and the rules, for COVID. And then the other thing that was stressful was that we had a couple of people who actually did get sick before we started. So we had to replace those people. And then all the actors had to be tested, and then we had to rehearse, make sure everybody, was comfortable, knew their lines. All the crew had to wear masks while we were shooting. And I mean, I don't know how, it was just the grace of God, I guess, that we got it done. But that's what it's about. It's about all of these different activities and events and things that happened to these people, these young students, while they were dealing with COVID as well. So they had, it addresses the issues of, racism and police brutality and all kinds of, stuff. I think they even had a flood, but we weren't able to do that in the movie. Mm-hmm. But a flood hit Baton Rouge, and they had to deal with that too. So these students were very resilient, and I was so excited to meet them. We met the actual students, and then we introduced them to the actors who would be playing their part. And it was just wonderful, the camaraderie and the way everybody came together and collaborated to make it a success.
Fantastic, yeah.
Now, I wanted to say this too, Alan. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I wanted to mention it was that movie, Voices, that inspired me to write my book, my ebook, about how to make a short film, because I learned so much in doing that project. I said, let me share this with everybody so that nobody has to make those mistakes that we made, and that they can learn from that experience.
Yeah. And a little bit later, we talk about some of the other ebooks that Dorez wrote. Okay, so we look forward to that. And now, now we are going to pause for a brief commercial, and we'll be right back. I'm Alan Greenstein, founder and producer at Support Our Creatives. At Support Our Creatives, I offer a number of services to support those developing a project. Check out the services tab of my website at supportourcreatives.com. If you are interested, please use the contact tab on my website or email me directly at alan@supportourcreatives.com. Okay, we're back. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go into a different topic. People have heard the term indie versus Hollywood, and recently I heard about a third, kind of a new movement that we'll have to see how impactful this is going to be. It's called the NonDē non-D movement. It's basically another way of financing and whatever different other things you might have to do to get a project made. So, Dorez, can you tell us a little bit about the non-D movement?
So the non-D movement, it actually stands for non-dependent. And we wanted they wanted it to name it that, to give it a new spin. So instead of saying the indie project or an indie filmmaker, you can say you're a non-D filmmaker. And so that's where that came from. And I first heard about it on Substack. And so when I heard about it, at first I thought it was something new, but then I found out it wasn't a new it's not a new thing, but it's a new phrase, a new name for it. And so what they're hoping to do with that movement is to encourage filmmakers to not wait for permission. Don't keep trying to figure out how can you get to these celebrities and get your things, in front of people that have power and all of that, because 9 times out of 10, unless you have an agent or a manager, that's not going to happen. So they're encouraging people to take whatever money you can get together, collaborate with other non-D filmmakers, and make your projects. And don't wait for permission.
Don't wait for permission. Okay, yeah. Because in my case, I've always said I've always been in the indie path in the stuff that I do, whether it be executive producing or acting, things like that. It's always been indie, and basically indie means that I think it's not not distributed by a major studio. So and of course, obviously, they have the regular Hollywood films, of course, that we're all familiar with, and now we have the non-D movement. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I've found out that a man named Ted Hope, he has written a bunch of different articles on this, and and as a matter of fact, if you go follow him on Substack and subscribe to his, we'll talk more about Substack later, but if you go to Substack, he's written a lot about it there. So if anybody's interested in what this new movement, well, it's not new movement, but there's a movement that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of, that would be a great way to find out. Yeah. Okay. And with that, we're actually going to segue over to Substack. Okay. Substack is a platform that has actually become a lot more well known during 2025 and into 2026 and beyond. So, And so, Dorez, tell us about Substack and why it's an important place to be.
Yeah, well, at first, when my daughter first told me about it, I didn't think it was for me. I went there and I looked around. You have to get the app, of course, first. And so I got the app and I started just looking around, reading the different essays, they call them. And some people do newsletters on there. You can do videos, you can go live, you can have your podcast on, show it on there. So I thought that it was for writers and journalists and people like that, novelists and so forth. But I come to find out that there are a lot of celebrities on there, and there are a lot of just regular people who are on there who just wanted to express themselves, especially with everything that's going on in the world. And so anyway, I decided to give it a try. I'm not a writer. I do collaborate with writers on our projects, but I'm not a professional writer in that sense. But I thought, well, I've written some eBooks and I've written some poetry and things like that. And they have what they call notes. And when you go to Substack, if you look at the bottom of the screen on your page, once you've set a page up, there's a little plus sign in a red circle or an orangish red circle. And you click on that and you can write a note. You can just type whatever you want, whatever's on your mind that day. Doesn't have to relate to anything in particular. So I started doing those, and I found that if you do at least one per day, you will start to build an audience. Your people will start to find you. And so that's what I came to it for. And then I ended up meeting people that are in the film and TV category. If you look on there too, when you do a search, if you click on the little magnifying glass at the bottom of the page, you can then scroll across the top and you'll see a section that says film/TV. And so I started going to that section, that category, and that's how I started finding writers and people in the film industry. I started finding producers, crew people, all kinds of people, and writers as well, screenplay writers. So from that, I decided that while I do talk about the entertainment industry on my page, and I post things for subscribers because people can subscribe to your page, and they can either be free subscribers, or for those who want more personalized attention, they can pay. And it's just a little small fee. Mine is like $8 and something per month. But you can become a paid subscriber, and then that entitles you to more access to the actual person. And you get to find out more, you get to communicate with them more, possibly collaborate. You get to ask questions and get your questions answered, all that kind of stuff. So I fell in love with it after that, and I've been on there ever since.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I've been on Substack for a while, but I've never actually, shall I say, I've only made comments against other people's, posts. But now I'm going to have to start in the once again in the film category, as you mentioned, would be a good place for me to be. And I'll have to start writing some articles and some notes, whatever you want to call it. For that too. Yeah. And I guess if people search for Dorez Douglas on there, they will be able to. You will pop up.
Right. It'll pop up, and then they can subscribe, or they can just read what I'm writing. And I think they now have a category too. It might have always been there, but they have a category for following. So if you just want to follow somebody and be able to keep up with what they're writing, but then some stuff will be only for the paid subscribers. Yeah. So what it'll do is it'll let you read part of the article or essay, and then it'll cut it off at a certain point and say, to read more, you need to subscribe or go to paid subscribe, which they call upgrading. Upgrading,
yeah. Okay, yeah. So once again, that's Substack, SUBSTACK.com. And as I said, search for Dorez Douglas, and she should pop up. And as I said, I've been looking at some of the stuff you put out there, and it's really, for people interested in entertainment or making films or whatever it is, this is going to be a very valuable resource.
Well, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I try to do what I wish had been done when I was younger and just starting in the industry. We didn't have all of these avenues, that you can use now to connect to people. And so I just decided that I may as well take all these years of experience and help those who are coming along behind me.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that Substack will continue to grow in its popularity and get more into the mainstream. And as I said, in the past year or so, it really has gotten more into the mainstream. And
right. It's really taking off now.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's I think once again, any way you can come up with great information about what you want to do, just as an entertainment, this is going to be another great source. Will be Dorez's stuff, as well as the other people in the same film and filmmaking category on Substack.
Yeah,
that's going to be really cool. Great. Okay, now let's talk about it. There's another platform that Dorez has been involved with. It's called FAVunite. And tell us about that and what you've contributed to it.
Oh, okay. Yes, that FAVunite is a new platform. I say new, but they've been around since like 2021. So they're not totally new, but they're new in the sense that it's self-funded. So for right now, they're not able to offer, any money to people that want to get their projects on the FAVunite channel. They're also on YouTube. So it's FAVunite.com, and that's FAV, and then the word unite, all one word, TV, And what you do is, or what their goal, first of all, was to give minorities a voice, to give them a place to feature their films and their stories, and their music as well. They have music videos, they have films, and so they're working hard to get the word out to let people know that they exist, and that you can get your projects on their platform. And then, like I said, they also have a YouTube channel. And if you want to see the short film that I did called Voices, it's on their channel, on their YouTube channel. So that'll be a way for you to see it. And what I like about them is, although they're still new, they're growing, and they've reached out to some partners in Africa, and they're now bringing their projects to the channel. And so what I think is going to happen is they're trying to build up their watch hours on YouTube so that they can then start to take some of that revenue and spread it around to the other content creators who are bringing their projects to the platform. So I would love for everyone to support FAVunite.tv.com. Go there, and then you can also find their YouTube channel. If you put in FAVunite TV, it'll come up on YouTube, and start supporting them, because the other thing they want to do is they want to bring your audience, your fans, to your projects and your music and your whatever you have on their channel. They're connecting them so that your fans can comment, they can reach out to you, and all of that. So that way you're getting not only just having somewhere to show your work, but you're getting comments and feedback on your work.
Oh, yes. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So besides having voices on this platform, you also have a How to Hack Hollywood.
Yes.
Of course,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
tell us about that.
They would not want me not to mention that. What happened is that they wanted me to do a master class. And at first I said no, because I was like, that's just way too much work. I don't even know, if I have enough stuff to to go that long. But it turned out I did have enough information to share, and it ended up being 2 hours.
Wow.
So they split it up so that I think they've kind of split some of it up, and they've been running little bits of it like on the YouTube Shorts, so that you can see what it is you're going to get a little taste of it, and you can buy the video, and then that way you can watch it at your leisure. You don't have to try to watch the whole 2 hours. And that's what it is. So it's all about the industry. It's about how to get started if you're just starting. If you're trying to build your career, you've already been working some, but you want to go to the next level. I address that issue as well. I talk about how Hollywood works now, and also what opportunities are out there for you now. And in light of that, I want to just say one thing to writers that are out there. Because the streaming companies are so desperate for original content, if you have a really good script, if you can get representation, either a manager, an agent, or even an entertainment attorney, to submit it to Netflix or Hulu or any of those streaming companies, they are now buying the scripts from writers. So if it's not something you want to produce yourself, you're worrying about trying to have control of it. If it's just a really good story, it's something unique, it fits their programming, and you'll have to watch, the shows and the movies that are on those channels, so that you know where to submit your work, which genre they're looking for, and all that kind of thing. But that's the way a lot of writers, especially years ago, used to make a living. Was they would just write scripts that they could sell. They didn't try to be involved in the project. They weren't trying to produce the project. They just wanted to get their name out there. And some of them even ended up getting hired by these networks and companies and studios and all of that. So just keep that in mind when you're at that typewriter. I'm teasing now. Nobody uses a typewriter anymore. But when you're working on your computer, you're putting in all that hard work as a writer. Just know that you could just sell that script, and maybe then you have the money to do something that's close to your heart, one of your passion projects.
Well, that is a great nugget of information. Once again, I love having the guests on here who can help people, give them valuable information to help them move in a forward direction. So thanks for that. It's great.
You're welcome.
Great to know. Yeah. Okay. And how to hack Hollywood? That's still available to purchase and all that
it's
stuff.
Still available on FAVunite.
Very nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the eBooks that have been authored by Dorez. I mean, an ebook is a great way for people to get information out there to the populace. So tell us about some of the ebooks that you have written.
Well, thank you, Alan. I've written 3 of them so far. I'm going to be coming out with another one that's going to be all about how the industry works and everything, how to produce a movie from start to finish. Yeah. But for right now, I have 3 ebooks. One is called Careers in Film. And what I did with that one was I decided that people keep asking me about what kind of jobs are there in the entertainment business, and they want to know, what do those people do and what kind of skills do you have to get that job and all of that. So I decided to address it in an ebook. So I have all of that in there. I have the terminology that we use in the industry, because nothing makes you look unprofessional than to not understand what I call the shorthand of the industry. Yeah. And so you need to know how all of that works. And you need to know, if you want to get started, let's say you're brand new, you want to get in, your first job will probably be a production assistant, which we call a PA. Yeah. And for that, you're going to need to know the walkie-talkie codes, which is what we use on those handheld radios, or what we call walkie-talkies, but on set, sometimes they say radio. And so I decided to go through and find all the codes and put those in there as well, so that you'll understand what someone means when they say, "What's your 20?" So if you don't know what that is, you wouldn't know how to respond. And what that means is, where are you? Yeah. So things like that are in there as well. And then the other ebook is how to make a short film. That's sort of self-explanatory. I decided to take all the steps that I have learned over the years about making a project and just walk you through it step by step, and telling you all the secrets and the tricks and how to make it without a whole lot of money, and what you can do to get support, get people to donate, or to get people to, maybe you need a fiscal sponsor so you can accept donations that are tax deductible, or maybe you need to work out something with a restaurant or a store and get them to donate some drinks or food. So all of that kind of stuff, gave those tips. And the last ebook is how to win an Oscar. And that one is mostly for actors, but there, a lot of people win Oscars, in all the crew categories as well, all the technical categories. So what I did was I interviewed a few friends of mine who are members of the Academy, and they were kind enough to share some of the reasons that certain movies or TV shows, get voted on or get nominated, and how they win and all of that. And so I decided to let them remain anonymous so that they would share more of the inside tips. So those are the 3 ebooks, and they're all available on my website, which is dorezdouglas.com.
Okay, that's right, dorezdouglas.com. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we're going to stop for another brief commercial. We'll be right back.
All righty.
I'm Alan Greenstein, founder and producer at Supporter Hashtag Creatives. If you make something, albeit make a movie, start a business, write a book, make a physical product, run a nonprofit, promote people, are a songwriter, etc. You too are a creative, and I would love to have you be a guest on the Support Our #Creatives podcast. If you want to be featured on this podcast, please use the contact tab on my website at supportourcreatives.com or email me directly at alan@supportourcreatives.com. Okay, and we're back. Okay. All right, let's talk about your collaboration with Willie D. Burton.
Oh, yes. Willie is the biggest blessing to come into my life. Willie is a sound mixer. He's a 2-time Academy Award-winning sound mixer. And I met Willie back in the 80s, actually, around 89. And at that time, I think he had just gotten nominated for an Academy Award for the movie Bird. And it's about Charlie Bird Parker. And Clint Eastwood was the director on that project. And that's how he and Willie became friends and got to know each other. And so Willie won the award that year. And I was friends with another friend of his. So we got together with some crew people that we knew, and we gave him a party to celebrate his winning the award. And after that party, or during the party, he and I got a chance to talk and get better acquainted. And so it would be several years later before we decided to become partners, because he still was working as a sound mixer. So he had all these jobs he was still doing, and he didn't have a whole lot of free time. But what he would do is, because he's worked with some of the biggest producers and directors and actors in this industry, he would offer me tips and advice on the little projects that I was doing. Like, I was producing plays at that time, and I had other projects I was trying to develop. And I really didn't understand the actual production process, that side of the business. I never had an opportunity to really work in that side of it. And so he gave me tips and gave me advice. And eventually, after I had done the animated project, Jirimpimbira, Willie called me from out of town. He was working on a project, and he said, "Are you still looking for a producing partner?" Because I had put the word out that I was looking for someone, because the lady from Disney wasn't able to continue working with me because she was working for Disney. So anyway, Willie and I ended up having a meeting when he got back to town, back to LA, and we decided that we both had sort of the same vision and ideas about what we wanted to do, what kind of projects. So we became partners, and our company is called Foresight Entertainment. And we're currently developing several projects, including 2 documentaries. And we'll be looking for funding, of course. And we have some people that are interested in the documentary, one of the documentaries. And then in one of the other documentaries, we have some potential investors. So those are a couple of things that we're doing. And as I said, Willie has worked on some of the biggest movies. I'm going to name a few so that people will understand the level that he's on. He won another Academy Award for Dreamgirls. Oh. He's worked on The Color Purple. He did The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, Oppenheimer, and he's also the sound mixer for The Rip, or I don't know if it's pronounced R.I.P. or what, but it's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, the new movie that they have coming out. He did the sound on that. And the new Christopher Nolan movie that's going to be coming out, I think this year, called Odyssey, he did that as well. So Willie is well established. He knows about making movies, what's involved, what you have to do. And he was a big help to me in writing the How to Make a Short Film book. Gave me a lot of tips. So that's where we are on that.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I know that a couple of the projects that you worked with him, collaborated on was Voices, which you mentioned before.
Right.
Yeah, and also another one called Beverly Hood.
Oh, yes, that was the first feature we ever did. Oh, my goodness. It's a comedy. And it was actually a lot of comedy going on behind the scenes with all the trauma and challenges that we had on that movie. It wasn't made for a lot of money. A lot of times we thought we were going to get shut down, but somehow we tunneled on through. And that's what you have to do in this business. You have to be determined, refuse to be defeated.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So tell us, what is next for Dorez?
Well, in addition to the new ebook that I'm going to write about producing movies, I'm also running a program called the Film and Music Workshop. And what we do is, we did it in Kansas City, Missouri in 2024. What we do is, we come into your city, we have brought in people from LA as well as local people who work behind the scenes in the industry, and they come in and they conduct classes for 3 days, teaching you all about the industry. And then at the end of it, we shoot a project together so that you can get hands-on experience. And we were able to do it in Kansas City because they raised the money for it. It was a grant that they gave us. And because of that, we didn't have to charge the students. So no one had to pay to participate in the workshop or in the project that we shot afterwards. So we're trying to recreate it. We may be going back to Kansas City again, but we're also looking at Atlanta because of their film community there. We think it could be beneficial to the people that live there. So anyone in Atlanta that thinks that they would like to be involved, just contact me. You can contact me on Instagram as Ms. Dorez. That's MZ Dorez. I'm sorry, MS Dorez. Or you can write me on Substack as well.
Okay, wow, that's something really to look forward to. Once again, another path for people to follow. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So what advice can you give people out there who want to, I don't know, will follow your footsteps, emulate you, whatever you want to call it? So let's have some more golden nuggets from you on that.
I'll see how many I can come up with right quick, because I know we're coming to an end. One of the things I always say is that I wish I had done. I wish I had learned how to write screenplays, because that would have saved me a lot of time and trouble. I would have been able to do a lot more projects. But because I always had to wait until a project fell in my lap and it had to be a good one, I didn't get to do as many projects as I would have liked to have done. And also because I started so late in my career, and also because I'm Black and a female, and I have to be for real about it. It's very tough for us to get the kind of financial support that you need in order to be a filmmaker or a producer. So I would recommend, if you can, take a class in writing if you have the talent for it. Now, if you don't worry about it. Team up with somebody who is a good writer and work with them, become a collaborator. And the other thing is, learn how to network. And I mean seriously network. Some people think networking is running up to somebody who's famous or well known or established and giving them your card or whatever. That's not networking. Networking is when you take the time to follow people on their social media, comment when they're posting about things, support their projects. If they say, here's my trailer, it's on YouTube, or here's my short film, it's on Vimeo, or I'm trying to get into some film festivals and I need some help. Try to be supportive as much as you can, and you will be surprised how people will respond to that. And that's how you build relationships. And that's why it's so important to do that, because you're trying to build relationships that you will be able to have for years. I mean, Willie and I have been partners now for almost 30 years. And you can't find that kind of relationship as much anymore because people don't go to in-person events as much as they did back then. We didn't have a choice. But now, because of the internet, you don't necessarily have to live in the same city as another person. It's good if you can. And if you want to do that, my final nugget to you is join meetup.com. That's meetup.com. They have tons of groups, filmmaking groups, all kind of groups on there. And you can find one in your city and start meeting with other filmmakers who are in your city. And that's how you can build a team. Start building your team, work on other people's projects, do background work, work as a PA. All of that is what gets you on these sets. You get to meet people, you get to make connections. Don't be pushy, don't be arrogant. Don't feel like nobody can tell you anything, because believe me, somebody knows more than you do. Even me, I'm still learning at my age. So that's my tips. Those are my golden nuggets, Alan.
Oh, thank you for
and I hope they help.
Oh, yeah, they will. Yeah. Yeah. Getting on set, very important, no matter what you do on set. So
yes.
Definitely going to make connections and learn. Yep. Okay. So finally, you may have said some of this already. Let's review. What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So you can do Ms. Dorez on Instagram, or you can write me from my website, which is dorezdouglas.com, or on Substack. I have free subscribers and paid subscribers, or you can follow me. And then you can also catch me on Facebook, Dorez Douglas, and make sure it's the right one because I've got several. And but it's the one that has over 4,000 friends. So when you see that, you know you got the right one.
Okay, lots of possibilities. And you also mentioned to you could also people also reach you through Substack.
Yes, they can, and that's dorezd.substack.com.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you, Dorez, for being our guest. And once again, it's amazing all the stuff that people can learn, and that's why that's why I love doing this podcast and having these guests on, so people can learn, how to get in where they want to be. Right. Yeah.
Well, your podcast has helped a lot of people, Alan, and so I'm so happy that you have it, and thank you for having me as your guest.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And I want to point out that this once again, thank the people who are watching this live as well as on the replay. And this is going to be repurposed and put on platforms such as Spotify, and also another platform that you will be able to see this on. It's called Jess TV, JESS TV, which is a platform in Canada. So this is just two examples of where this will be shown for those people who were not able to watch it live. So with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.